You're watching France24, and it's time now for our international press review presented by Nadia Shabi. Good morning, Nadia. First up, there's reassuring news from Britain, I believe. Britain's The Guardian on the mounting tension between Turkey and its Kurdish militants in northern Iraq. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan is in Britain today, and diplomacy staves off Turkish incursion, says The Guardian. The threat of an imminent invasion of northern Iraq is being put off, with President Jalal Talabani's predicting that the PKK guerrillas are about to announce a new ceasefire. A PKK spokesman told The Guardian that the group expected to make a significant announcement in the next 3 days. The article goes on to say there's little love lost between the PKK and the Iraqi leadership, but that Talabani has offered to help broker a solution.
Nadia, I know you've also looked at the Turkish press. What are they making of it?
Turkish paper ZAMAN, that's kind of close to the official line, has an interesting column by Fatma Dizli. PKK wants to play by its own rules, she says. The recent attack has exhausted the Turks' patience, causing anger, grief and hatred against the bloody terrorist organisation, she says, increasing calls for a military operation, as we've seen in the news. But, says Dizli, nearly all commentators are in full agreement that the PKK wants to drag Turkey into the Iraqi quagmire. The key question here is, should Turkey join in a play whose scenario it did not write by itself? According to commentators, such a Turkish move would go beyond its fight against terrorism, and it's already become an international matter.
Are there any answers in the papers about why the PKK wants Turkey to get embroiled in northern Iraq?
Well, there's lots of speculation. One commentator believes they may have planted mines in areas where Turkish soldiers would be fighting. Another says, so there's lots of practical information, but also commentators say that Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan's call to the PKK to conduct politics under the roof of Parliament is a courageous step, therefore sidestepping the PKK's idea of dragging Turkey into Iraq. All these columnists do agree on sense and diplomacy being key to avoid the dynamics of violence.
OK, well, let's move on to Morocco, where President Nicolas Sarkozy of France is, of course, on his first official state visit. How's he getting on?
Well, right-wing paper Le Figaro has an interesting short article on its website that interestingly hasn't appeared in the paper version today. Ben Barker arrest warrants against 5 Moroccans is the headline. The paper gives a bit of background to the Ben Barker affair, which we've been following. He's a Moroccan socialist opposition leader who disappeared in Paris in 1965. He was arrested by 2 French police officers in front of a cafe and was never seen again. Moroccan secret services are suspected of having made him disappear, so the affair is poison for Franco-Moroccan affairs, says Le Figaro.
And, of course, we'll be following that story throughout the week. But finally, you were promising us, Nadia, something about a painting, that's disappeared.
Yes, and it's reappeared. One person's trash is another person's lost masterpiece, says the New York Times. One March morning 4 years ago, the paper says 20 minutes before the garbage truck arrived, a woman called Mrs. Gibson, a writer and self-confessed dumpster diver, found a huge painting. She hesitated before picking it up because it was quite big, finally took it home, got interested in the origins of this painting, and eventually, after 3 years of research, which the article goes on about, it's very interesting, finally found that this was a painted by a Mexican artist called Tomayo, and it's worth a hefty $1 million.
Not bad for one dumpster dive.
Absolutely, and when she found it, she got so worried that she got a false wall built into her closet, wrapped it in shower curtains and hid it there for a while.
Very sensible indeed. Well, thank you very much, Nadia Shabi, for that review of the papers. Stay tuned to France24.